Awesome. Thank you, Liz. And great to see everybody. We're very excited to be here and give this presentation to you today. It'll be pretty high level around how to use social media for good, aka advanced democracy form and ranked choice voting. So we'll go through. If you have questions while we're going through, please feel free to raise your hand or drop something in the chat, and then we'll also take questions at the end of the presentation as well. So let me just click through. Just a little bit about myself and Mark. We run an organization called Founding Citizens. We work with state and local organizations like UpVote Virginia, helping to enhance their digital presence and just other general comms help. We also work very closely with Rank the Vote, where we work with a number of other state partners across the country. So I have a background in digital marketing and social media. Mark and I do Founding Citizens in our free time. My full-time job is for a global climate nonprofit, so have a lot of experience just communicating out to all different kinds of audiences, both in the US and across the world. And I'll hand it over to Mark to do a quick intro of himself.
Hi everyone, it's great to meet you. My name is Mark Jarzel. I do this work with Kara. We've gotten involved as volunteers for a few years now, and we kind of saw the need, especially at the state and local level, for organizations to have kind of a clear, consistent messaging online. And often there's just so many balls to juggle. That's can be challenging to do that. So we help out state organizations with that work. My background's in public policy, but lately I've been getting more into the digital side of it as I've been coordinating with a lot of the states that we work with through Rank the Vote. So yeah, excited to be here today and chat with you all.
All right. So, just a few reasons on why to use social media. People trust people more than they do companies or even sometimes organizations. And so, social media is a great way for individuals like you to influence your network. It's also super helpful for organizing, getting people together in one place online around a common cause. Again, people are motivated by other people, so it's just a really great tool for general motivation around an issue. And then educational, you can be an educational voice for your network. You all are involved in this day to day and can provide a lot of value to the people that you talk with online. And I'm going to hand it over to Mark. He's going to share just some examples around organizing online and how he's seen that work really well in DC.
Yeah, I'm gonna offer a little bit of color commentary here. So I think a great example of actually all of these things was in DC with the Initiative 83 campaign, which was the ranked choice voting open primaries that Liz had mentioned before. That was an incredibly successful campaign. I volunteered as a signature gatherer, and we ultimately won every precinct across the city, and just sent this clear message that people wanted this. And so social media plays a role in that as the campaign's getting, and this will be from the organizational perspective, as the campaign's getting going, you need to just kind of let people know that this is real, it's happening. They hear about it. They often go to like your website, they go to social media, and from there you're kind of judging like, is this an organization that exists? Are they doing stuff? Are they posting regularly? Is there stuff to engage with? Or, if it's kind of dead, they haven't posted in several months, you might think that, well, maybe they're not really going. And so that's one of the roles that I think is important for social media. Early on, they were using it to try to get volunteers involved, let people know that we need people to come help us gather the signatures for the campaign when they were having the trainings for volunteers. And then as they got going, beginning to kind of get the word out to just everyday residents of DC that this is something that's happening. It made it easier when you're out talking to people because if they'd already kind of heard about it, they kind of know, they saw something online, someone like shared something, when someone that they knew liked it, it showed up in their feed. It just made those conversations a little bit easier. And then later on, once it was actually on the ballot, you were using that as part of the campaigning of vote yes on Initiative 83. And then even afterwards of you need to demand that the city funds it. So all those were ways that they were trying to reach out and engage with everyday residents. One really interesting thing that they did during the signature gathering phase, essentially in DC, you couldn't just fill out the form online, that you couldn't sign digitally. You had to sign like the paper petition out, somewhere. So you're meeting someone physically. And so what they would do is they would post that we have volunteers at these locations at these days and times. And so sometimes I'd get there and there'd be like five people that immediately came up to me and just like, we saw it online that you're going to be here. We want to sign, which made it a lot easier. They even, you could fill out a form that they had posted, and if you said like where your house was, like they would have someone kind of do a route of going to people's doors that said they wanted to sign. And so we were able to kind of translate that digital presence into like the real world in that way. And then, so as individuals, one way that you'd be helping an organization that was doing those kind of posts is by, you're sharing it, you're commenting, you're engaging. All those things help amplify, help it show up in people's news feeds. When you have a friend that likes something or comments on something, that often shows it to you, and so that you're able to get a little bit of a bigger reach. And when you see that content being engaged with, it often lends that credibility to the posts themselves. So that's why we'll talk about that aspect as an individual later on.
Great. Thanks, Mark. And just some general tips for social media. Following pro ranked choice voting organizations is very helpful. Following hashtags so you can see what other people are posting about. Sharing the positive news stories just to get that reach and making sure people know that there's active things going on around this issue is super important. And then just being respectful and positive, using a personal tone, and posting regularly are all great ways just to make sure that your audience is staying engaged. You all probably are aware of these organizations, but just wanted to highlight Rank the Vote, Fair Vote, and obviously, UpVote. Following these accounts, engaging with their content really goes a long way and gets their content in front of more people and just helps with the general education. So, just a few other tips on how to use social media effectively. Sharing content, as we mentioned, and then also just taking a lot of photos and videos when you're out volunteering at events. That really goes a long way and shows people how this works in the real world. Also, just getting personal and sharing why you care about these issues, how it will help your community. And then sharing this information really just creates a social license for other people to be more engaged and be clued into these issues that may not seem like they affect their everyday life, but really do. And seeing you post about it really gives people that social license. Regularly, consistency, those are all great things to do and provide a lot of opportunities for your network to learn. And then again, just engaging with content from other people that you know in your network and other pro-democracy reform organizations really does go a long way. Anything you want to
Yeah,
add
and I
here?
really want to. Oh yeah, I beat you to it. Yeah, I think that the videos out at events, kind of like that on the ground as an individual or as a volunteer, as someone that's showing up, kind of helps show like the grassroots aspect of the RCV and other reform movement, because we really are a grassroots movement. So if there's only posts from the organization, it kind of it's a little bit less. It doesn't appear quite so much. So getting those kind of like personal ones, like you're out at the event, like you have this perspective, and then posting it from your account kind of helps underline, that part of it. And then also, I think that that personal voice of sharing your why, like this is, why you're here. This is, what your interest is. All that kind of gives it like that real authentic, we're a grassroots movement.
Yeah. All right. So just a couple other tips on what makes good content. Using your own voice, sharing your own perspective, celebrating the good news. I think you all know there's a lot of negativity online. And so sharing positive stories is actually really helpful, and people are hungry for it. So, as much as you can to share those positive stories is great. Listen and engage to people when they have our conversations online. If you can add value, that's great, but avoiding digital arguments at all times is really best practice. I think we've all seen how those can devolve pretty quickly and just not be productive. And then, as we mentioned before, photos and videos get really great engagement. So, as much as you can post those, that's great. And then, just substance, help others learn. You can talk about why these things matter to you, but also providing educational um, information can go a long way too. And just providing even just like that 101 content or a basic definition can really help.
Yeah, and to talk about that a little bit more, I think that the positive aspect of it is really important for our movement. Sometimes like the online fights or like kind of the negative content can work for the algorithm for other things, but in terms of like a reform movement, like what really works for us is just being positive and being engaging that way. And yeah, photos, videos do great. Even kind of humorous stuff like memes or like kind of funny posts, if those like fit with your voice, a lot of times that's really like kind of the best like best performing content is like something that kind of makes someone chuckle and then share it with a friend.
Yep. So just going off of that, what doesn't work, negative or unconstructive comments, incorrect information, acronyms, excessive jargon, and digital arguments. So really just leaning in to the positivity as much as possible. So that's the end of our presentation. We will stop here and take any questions if you all have them.